All right, so real quick, Joan, talking about the weather, I guess Stefano can't join us, but you know what I always say? Who needs Stefano when we've got Joan Jones?
Oh, is that right?
And her name is a lot easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
Especially for yours truly. All right, so real quick, Joan, just let's go through the weather because people are just tuning in.
Yep.
And they're waking up and they want to know what's going on. So, what's going on?
All right. So what Stefano is telling us is that right now we're under a winter storm watch. Eventually, it'll break up into winter storm warnings and warnings for ice conditions. So pretty serious stuff. It'll start on Friday night. It'll start north of I-40. Probably as some snow, sticking around for a while as snow, and then changing over to a mixture of precipitation. So a mixture of freezing rain, not north, freezing rain, some sleet, snow, all of that in the mix. Below I-40, it's going to start out as freezing rain and a mix of precipitation. So really not a whole lot of snow south of I-40. And eventually, in the far southern regions of this listening area, it may change over to rain in those areas, but it'll be cold enough that rain will freeze on the roads. And once you get, I think Stefano said, like a quarter inch of that rain that freezes on the roadways, it's game over on the roads. So be prepared for that kind of stuff.
Is there a timeline as far as when
things
the
change over?
Roads will be basically impassable?
No, not yet, because it keeps changing.
It's changing. We're still 2 days away.
Right. Yeah. So like a day and a half, because we'll have all today and then all of tomorrow, and it hits tomorrow night. So you've got time. You've got time right now to go and do the things that you need to do, and plan if you can to stay inside for the whole weekend.
Okay.
Card games, board games.
Card games, board games.
Yeah.
Do you know what board game is the best to play under these kinds of conditions?
What's that?
Monopoly, because it goes on forever.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say Risk.
Risk is a good one.
Risk is a good one. Because of my, clear ADD, I'm like checkers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know what? A guy like me, do you know what the best game for me is? Tic-tac-toe. It's over in it's over in under a minute.
How about anybody here play Settlers of Catan?
My brother's obsessed with that game.
What is Settlers of Catan?
It's a very long form game.
Yeah, that's another one that's long and...
No, and I'm not a big Dungeons of Dragons player either and all that silliness.
Dungeons
No.
And Dragons.
Anyway, so we are... we're watching the weather.
I grokked it, and Fox was talking about it on their national broadcast as well. The expectation on that ice is to hit at least a half inch on the roads, which is just, as Jones said, game over at a quarter inch. We're talking absolutely deadly at a half.
Yeah, and then, of course, we're talking about freezing temperatures in the days following.
Yes.
So, I mean, this
could go on for a while.
This is going to go on for a minute, folks.
The lows expected... dropping in the teens Friday, Saturday night, single digits or below zero by Monday and Tuesday. So that's going to deep freeze.
Yeah.
This is going to suck.
Time to buy some tire chains.
Well, I mean, honestly, don't buy the tire chains. Just don't go out. I say that because I don't have to.
Somebody said that, they have to, I guess, go out and work outside. Like what kind of jobs have to be outside? Like, I mean, cops, obviously, but I mean, I can't imagine, construction workers, no. There's going to be people that are working on the roads. That's good. There will be people working to keep the power on.
Yeah,
That's
TDOT
good.
will be out.
TDOT will be out. Thank the Lord for TDOT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right. Well,
things like, your Amazon driver probably isn't going to be able to show up.
No.
Amazon.
That would be nice. I'll just recall from my time there, December 23rd of a couple of years ago when we had ice and snow and they still had us out delivering packages.
Did they really?
Absolutely.
Oh, my
UPS
goodness.
is the same way. I know because my husband is retired UPS, and you go. You just go.
Yep. Even if you get stuck 10 minutes into your shift.
Okay, well, we are going to continue to watch him. And by the way, if Stefano does become available, Joan, just pop in and let me know.
He has not responded for an hour to and every time I look at the TV, he's on. So
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
got him really doing his
Working that Italian styling.
So what I'm doing is just recording everything he says.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, Joan.
That's right.
Joan, it's like, with radio, it's theater of the mind.
That's
you know
right.
all of these things. It's not Stefano's words coming through, your brain. You know all of this stuff, right?
Yes, you have to.
Okay. 6:13, Nashville's Morning News, your complete weather forecast basically continuing. There's a lot of news going on. Dan Mandis here. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. Also in the news, Donald Trump's Board of Peace, and this is big news all across the world, and so we're going to get into that. It's coming up on 6:15. What I want to do real quick, do a traffic report, then I'm going to focus on the Board of Peace. And Donald Trump, of course, is at the helm. Fun fact, the record high for today is 72, set in 1929. Take that, global warming. All right. Let's see here. The Board of Peace. I'm not sure why I'm not excited about this. Joni, you excited about the Board of Peace?
I'm not.
I'm not either. I'm going to do it because it's a news story.
Yeah.
But the Board of Peace, basically, it's a bunch of countries, 59 apparently, countries, including Russia. You've got Vladimir Putin that's going to give like $1 billion. And so there's a lot of, question, why is Donald Trump's arch enemy, Vladimir Putin, going to be on the Board of Peace? I think part of this is keeping your enemies closer. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Donald Trump comes from the rough and tumble world of New York real estate, where you've got enemies, you've got frenemies, and you've got friends. Clearly, you've got Vladimir Putin, who, in my opinion, is an enemy of America. He's an enemy, frankly, of the world. However, if you can sort of have something to negotiate with Vladimir Putin over, so, for example, if you can get him really into being part of the Board of Peace, which gives him some, legitimacy across the world, well, then you have that as a negotiating tool for the future. That's the only thing I can think of. Plus, again, he is giving $1 billion. But, politics and this kind of thing, they do make strange bedfellows. But, this was Donald Trump making the announcement.
We have 59 countries that are involved in peace in the Middle East. Many of them not in the Middle East. They're near the Middle East, but they're not in the Middle East. And many have said that if Hamas doesn't do what they promised they would do, and I think they probably will, but they were born with rifles in their hands. They were literally born. The first day they had a rifle put into their hands, but they have to give up their weapons. And if they don't do that, it's going to be the end of them.
Yeah, so that is Donald Trump. And basically, and we spoke a little bit about this in the 5 o'clock hour, what the Board of Peace is they are devoted to the rebuilding of Gaza. Now, the Daily Dan poll on YouTube, I took the poll. The question was, do you believe that Gaza can be successfully rebuilt? A resounding 72% of you said no. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm very skeptical. And do you really think that Hamas is going to give up their weapons? I don't believe that Hamas, number one, is going to give up their weapons. I don't believe that the radical Islamists that are in that part of the world are going to allow that to essentially become the Dubai of the Middle East. I mean, I understand there's a lot of potential. I understand that this could absolutely change the Middle East. I mean, it could be huge. What 59 countries are involved here? Don't mention all of them. By the way, Russia has not officially jumped into the Board of Peace, although I did see Vladimir Putin. He was up on the stage as Donald Trump was making this speech. But from what Sam is telling me, Russia has not officially jumped in?
Yeah, according to nationalworld.com, Putin was reported by Trump as having accepted the invitation, but Russian officials later said they were still reviewing the offer and had not formally confirmed the acceptance. And I think this was updated about 25 minutes ago.
Egypt, Hungary, Indonesia, Israel, Jordan, Kosovo, Morocco, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, United Arab Emirates, a lot of countries have jumped in. I thought it was interesting. Among the countries that have not, Sam, France has decided that they are not going to participate.
Sacre bleu.
Did they say why?
Citing concerns about undermining the international order and role of the UN.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
While their country is being flipped upside down by the rampaging Muslims.
Right. I don't know how many other different ways I can say it, but,
yes,
you know.
But Emmanuel Macron looks really good in blue shades indoors.
Did he get punched by his wife again?
That's the
I saw
going
that.
theory. Yes.
Is that the ongoing theory that he
President
is...
Trump even talked about it. Did you hear him when he was talking
what
yesterday?
did he say?
He said, he just said, Emmanuel Macron and his blue glasses. He said, I kind of like it, but it was, a little weird.
And my wife, she hits like a man.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't think that now that we've seen her sock him one time?
Do you know what? Here's what I would say is, I'm not making light of this. Spousal abuse is a serious thing. And men can be abused by their wives just as much as wives can be abused by men, right? I mean, we know that happens. And we've seen Emmanuel Macron get his face literally hit by his wife. And so if he is being abused by his wife, then, I don't know what you do about it, but do we need to do an intervention? You know what? You know why he's not on the board of peace? Because his wife likes to be violent. Thank you.
He could do the
no
classic.
Peace in his life.
There's no peace in his life.
He could do the cliche French thing and wave the white flag.
He could. Let's see here. This is Donald Trump. And by the way, Jared Kushner is all about this. He is going to take part in the rebuilding of Gaza as well. You've got to do all of the infrastructure. And I don't know how much of that infrastructure is even left after the whole thing between Israel. By the way, can you find me the Donald Trump audio of him making fun of Macron's glasses? Because clearly he's been beaten up by his wife. Joan, are people going to get mad at me for what I said about abused husbands? Husbands
no.
can be abused, right?
Listen,
that happens all the time.
Their
Husbands can be-
relationship was kind of weird from the beginning.
Well, yeah, because he was a student and
14 years old.
14 years old.
She was nearly 40.
She was nearly 40, and so
his teacher.
I don't think he thought about the long-term investment there.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're 14 and she's 40. It's another when you're 40 and she's almost 70.
You know what? She's going to be in trouble when she needs her diaper changed, and he's not going to do it. All right, here's more from Donald Trump.
And now to bring the Board of Peace into full force, I ask Sheikh Isa of Bahrain and Foreign Minister Barita of Morocco to join me in signing and ratifying the Board of Peace Charter. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So you've got a couple dozen world leaders up there, and Donald Trump says this could expand beyond just Gaza. So we'll have to see if this is a success. I think that they're going to have their hands full trying to rebuild Gaza. And please don't get me wrong, because I think that if there's anybody that can do it, it is Donald Trump. But do you think it can be done in 3 years? That's what some people are saying. Who was telling us that, Sam, earlier?
Kushner.
Jared Kushner says that, you know what?
He says that cities do get built in the Middle East within 3 years, and that's kind of the time frame they're aiming for stuff. They know it's a long-term project and investment, but to get some kind of framework and I guess, a skeleton of the plan together, it should only take a few years.
And see, that's kind of what I was saying, is that they'll probably get sections of the city. They're going to have to, build it sections at a time. And ultimately, I totally agree. This could completely rebuild and reshape and remake the Middle East. I think it would be great. I don't think that the hardcore radical Muslims out there will allow Western culture to take over that region to that extent. So I just don't.
The analogy that comes to my mind is specifically with Legos. When you have a younger sibling and you're building something, and then that younger sibling destroys what you have built with those Legos, and then you rebuild it for them, and they destroy it again.
Yeah. You're right. I don't I don't see it happening. I don't want to be a Danny Downer. But if Donald Trump, if there's anybody that can get it done, it's Donald Trump. Now, after Donald Trump leaves office, and let's say, Lord help us, the Democrats end up winning the White House or whatever, do you really think that we're still going to be part of the Board of Peace? No. That's why they need to get it done in 3 years to have some semblance of success. And so, we'll ultimately see what happens. But, if this is what?
I've got that audio you're asking.
Oh, you've got that audio?
Yeah.
Of Donald Trump. All right, hold on. Let's do this. We've got the audio of Donald Trump making fun of Macron's glasses. I got to stay on time today, so it is 6:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. We've got that audio coming up. But first, Joan, what's coming up at 6:30?
Yeah, we will detail what Stefano has to say about the start of the storm and the snow ice potentials for different areas. It's all coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, now, here's what we need to do. Joan, Sam, programming decision. Now, we know that we can't actually play music on the stream, correct? So, Sam, every time we talk about ice, you need to go do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That's what you need to do.
Ice, ice, baby.
No, don't do that because that's creepy. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Can you do that? Because every time Joan talks about ice, that can be... Because, many years ago, Joan, this was before your time, but we had the same kind of situation. And I did play that little ice, ice, baby little bass line.
Yeah.
And it was a big hit amongst the WTN faithful. We can't do that anymore because of the damn lawyers. So if Sam can just go do, I think that would be good.
Can't we just send the lawyers out to the ice for a little while? Like send them out in the storm.
You know what? Cumulus lawyers, go out and get your ice picks and ice shovels ready. Do something productive.
Yeah.
And get the ice off the roads. We just heard the forecast from Stefano DiPietro. So, basically, Joan, when we talk about the forecast, before we get to some other things, we're talking about really it's going to start Friday night, and then it's just going to get progressively worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, we're not going to do that. That's just a dumb joke on my part.
There's ice on the way. There you go. Now do it, Sam.
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun.
So, and the worse, the further south you go, the icier it gets because you're going to have rain that's going to fall more south of I-40. That rain is going to wash away all of the stuff that they've put on the roadway. And so now you're talking about an untreated roadway that is going to end up getting, rain, sleet, frozen ice, and all that other kind of stuff. And so really south of I-40 is going to be particularly bad. However, anywhere in Middle Tennessee, it's going to be bad. How do I know that? Jim Cantori's in town.
And not just rinsing that brine off the roads, but remember, Stefano told us after 20 degrees and below, it stops working.
Yeah, and we've got days and days of really cold temperatures. So this is going to be a rough patch. I made the mistake, Joan, of asking, who works outside in the snow? I
saw all the responses. And how like short-sighted are we that the number one answer was like, hello, farmers?
Farmers. And people expanded that out to who has to get on the roads. You're talking about nurses, doctors.
Yeah.
Plumbers, electricians.
To that effect, there's actually a Facebook group of Jeep owners that will be picking up nurses over the weekend to make sure that they can get to the hospitals.
Yeah.
See, I think that is amazing. I interviewed one of those guys a few years ago. Just very cool. Hey, Joan, do you think that one of them would come pick me up if I needed them to? I'm asking a question.
I would pay money to watch you get
I'm not a nurse.
Jeep.
I'm not as important as a nurse or a doctor, but I'm like, if I pay, that's the thing.
So
if I could pay, here's my deal. If I could pay somebody with a highfalutin big A truck to come pick me up and take me to the radio station on Sunday night, Monday morning,
yeah,
I would totally do that.
So
can I hire somebody to do that?
Dan, get into the car with a stranger.
Now that you put it out there, I'm sure somebody on the super text line knows who would do that.
Yeah.
When back in 1996, there was a blizzard that hit the Philadelphia area. I may have told the story before. The only people that were allowed on the roads were people who were in media or who worked in the medical realm.
Yep.
And so there was this picture the next day, like after the blizzard began. Now, we took my co-host and I lived like a mile apart from each other, and we were in South Jersey. We had to travel to Philadelphia. So we left, traveled, white knuckle drive. We got there, everything was okay. The next morning we opened the newspaper. Above the fold is a picture of one car on the Schuylkill Expressway driving. It was my car.
Oh, wow.
I was the one that had the four-wheel vehicle, so I drove.
So you were front page news.
We were front page news. So, I mean, there's a case to be made for that. Like, people stay home if you don't have to be out.
Right.
But, if you need to be in, like communications workers, where are people getting their information from? They're getting it from us. So, yeah, I mean, it's important that we try to get on the air on Monday morning.
Yeah. No, you're right. And we're going to try to be on the air on Sunday. I don't want to give out the plans, but I mean, Murphy and I have been talking, and Chris Hand as well, where if we need to get on the air on Sunday and just do what we do, Chad, of course, lives right down the road. So the four of us, if we can all get on, we'll be on the air on Sunday.
Yeah.
So there is just... That's the question is, will we be, and I do want to be on the air on Monday. We just have to figure out a way to get it done. So anyway, that's where we're at.
I just heard from Stefano.
Yeah.
He said, I'm sorry. It's been kind of crazy here this morning. And I agree. I mean, honestly, every time I look at the TV, the guy's he's on the air. I don't know how they keep him speaking all that long.
Oh, well, it's what they do.
What he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dana says, Dan, regarding calling someone to take you to work, it's called Uber. I'm sorry, but I don't think Uber is going to be able to take me from my house to the radio station.
The surge pricing will be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you need somebody who's like an ice driver. Like they have people that are out in the ice trucks and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, people are like, call Matt Murphy. He'll bring in Matt Murphy. I don't think so. I don't think Matt has that capability to drive on ice.
Well, in his new area, like it's about getting out of your area to get to the major roadways. That's the biggest struggle with this kind of a winter storm.
Right.
And he's now the furthest removed from Nashville.
He is. He's south of I-40, and I mean he is like south of I-40. He's like just north of Alabama. All right, he's not that bad, but he's like outside. Mount Pleasant is where he is. So anyway, whatever. Well, there's a lot of unknowns. We're in this together. And one way or another, we do hope to be on the air on Monday. So it is 6:45.
Oh, there was something that I just read somebody posted. And I think this is such a good reminder that if you've got a heat pump, I didn't know this before moving here. If you've got a heat pump that's electric only, once you get into the 20s or below freezing, you can't, like, the heat pump becomes ineffective. You have to revert to emergency heat to keep up with the cold. Did you know that?
No. Why would I know that, Joan?
I don't know, because it gets cold here, and it's so weird to me that it gets this cold here. I thought I was in the
typically,
South.
we don't get this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a once in a very long while. We had something like this a couple of years ago. I was at the hotel for like days on end. I remember about 10 years ago, we had the same kind of a thing. I remember because I was here and I was in the darn hotel. So, I mean, this does happen on occasion. All right, we've got to pay off on the T's.
Oh, yeah.
So, real quick, let's do the traffic, and then we'll play the audio of Donald Trump making fun of, I think it was very insensitive. Okay, so I thought it was very, Joan and Sam, I thought it was very insensitive of, President Donald Trump to make fun of a person who is being clearly physically abused. There's nothing funny about spousal abuse, but it's clear that is what's happening with Emmanuel Macron, because he's been running around. I'm tongue-in-cheeking, folks. So he's been running around in sunglasses. Now, we all remember that his wife, is it Brigitte? Brigitte Macron?
It's Brigitte, yeah.
Remember when
They were on the airplane.
They're on the airplane, and the airplane door opens up, and he gets a couple of, fists right in the face.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Do we need to have an intervention with, Emmanuel Macron and say, listen, we all know that you're being abused. There are shelters we can take you to. All right, so let's play the audio of Donald Trump making fun of Emmanuel Macron wearing sunglasses, clearly indoors, so that people won't see that apparently he probably has some black eyes.
Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? But I actually started with Emmanuel, who probably is in the room too. And I like him. I actually like him. Hard to believe, isn't it? And I said, Emmanuel, you're going to have to lift the price of that pill to $20, maybe $30. Think of that. That means it's a doubling of prescription drugs.
All right,
might
so then
be a tripling, might be.
Then he goes into stuff. So yeah, we don't know what's going on with Emmanuel Macron, but
have you seen the sunglasses?
No, they're aviators, right?
Well, they're aviators with a blue tint and they're reflective.
So you literally can't.
You
see.
literally can't see. It's the kind that the high school kids would wear, so their parents couldn't see their eyes were bloodshot.
I mean, it is sad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody's going to laugh at being abused, or somebody being abused. But if he truly is being abused by his wife, then I mean, he needs to be an example for the rest of France. You don't stay in those relationships. And we already know that she's taken fists to his face. So if she is truly like beating him up, and as a man, you don't want to hit back, obviously, how much can you defend yourself if your wife is beating the crap out of you? Joan, does John fight back with you?
Never.
All right, moving right along. Here's a headline. The president's DOJ has captured more wanted fugitives in his first year than Joe Biden did in all four. Yep, this is Kash Patel, FBI director.
These 5 individuals were collectively on the run, Sean, for over 35 years across multiple continents and multiple countries. Again, President Trump was given a sweeping mandate to return security to American neighborhoods and towns across this country. And this FBI let out on a mission to go out into the ends of the earth and capture 5 top 10 most wanted fugitives. And one of those folks is going to be coming right back to America just this week to face justice. And this can only happen, Sean, when you have law enforcement first and you're letting good cops be cops. But let's put that into perspective, Sean. Mm-hmm. The Biden administration in its entirety, in 4 years, captured 4 top 10 fugitives. President Trump has delivered 5 in just 1 year. And I'm telling you, there's more coming very soon.
All right, so that's Kash Patel. With all the other things that have been going on, this actually flew under my radar. On Saturday, Alejandro Rosales Castillo, one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives, was being prepared for extradition to face murder charges in North Carolina. So the FBI puts out this chart that shows that Donald Trump's first year in office, do you know how many people they've arrested? 67,000.
Wow.
That is a 197% increase than where Joe Biden had it. Now, they need to, have some of that energy in Minnesota. I really do believe that the president does need to call for the Insurrection Act. However, we'll have to wait and see ultimately what happens there. But
did you see the website that DHS created?
Funny you should mention that, Joan. Yeah,
okay.
that is part of my my presentation here.
Your shtick?
As part of my shtick, yeah.
Okay.
So don't get ahead of me, Joan.
I'm sorry. I was so excited about it. I've been scrolling through it.
Have you really?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
It is. So the Department of Justice has put out a website now, and it shows, do you know what I like about this? It shows all the people that have been arrested by the DOJ, where they're from, what they did, and it's just a website, and I tweeted it out, actually. Follow me on X, @Dan Mandis Show. I tweeted out a link.
I did too. Joan Jones at Joan Jones WTN.
Or at least I know my.
Yeah, I know. I'm
where
pretty
at
bad at it. Yeah.
Here's more from Kash Patel, and I think he's doing a good job as FBI director. He's getting a lot of crap. I like Kash Patel.
You have subpoenas out. It's not rocket science. Investigations are done by acquiring records. Investigations are then furthered by putting witnesses in the grand jury and making a presentment for a case, which our partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General will do in any case. But let's make one thing absolutely crystal clear. Under President Trump's leadership, he has supplied law enforcement the resources they need to protect our American communities. He has also given us the mandate to enforce the law. And the law is simply this: no one, elected official, private citizen or otherwise, gets to impede and obstruct a law enforcement investigation. No one. And this FBI is committed to working with our interagency and our Department of Justice partners under President Trump's mandate to make sure Minnesota and every other city across this country is safe. And that's why we're having the record year that we're having under President Trump's brilliant leadership.
You know, the funny thing is, so Biden let in all of these criminals, right? So it's almost like, fishing in a stocked pond. Because Biden lets in all of these criminals, and now Trump comes in and they're arresting said criminals, as they should. You know, the job of a president is to protect a nation's sovereignty and its people. Joe Biden clearly failed. Donald Trump did not. And so the crime across America is trending down. A lot of people will say, well, crime was already trending down, and I do understand that. It was, but you simply cannot dispute what Donald Trump has done. You can't dispute the 5 most wanted being arrested or the fact that this downward trend has continued big time. Now, all that to say, there's still a ton of work to be done because sadly, we do have a lot of bad hombres in our country. And it's almost like there's going to be a never ending to the number of bad hombres in our country because of the Biden administration. And every time that you think that you've heard the worst, you hear a story like this.
Deputies arrested 26-year-old Kenneth Moreno Guzman yesterday. He's facing 20 criminal charges, including child molestation, rape, and home invasion.
These charges run, several of them hold a 25 to life sentence. And that's our objective here, is to send him to prison.
They say Guzman entered a family's home through the back door. Then, investigators say he raped the 11-year-old girl. The sheriff's office also says Guzman held both the victim and her 10-year-old sister at knife point. Deputies arrested 26-year-old.
Yeah, so, I mean, that awful guy comes in, he rapes a 10-year-old, I think 10-year-old or the 11-year-old was raped, but he did it in front of the other family members. And this is the kind of person, we were talking about this earlier, where you've got the independents and we all have to bow to the independents, right? Can I just tell you, I'm starting to get really pissed off at the independents because everywhere you go, people are talking about, oh, Trump's losing the independents, Trump's losing the independents. What do they value? Because if Donald Trump is losing independence over this, this whole thing about Greenland, and the Democrats are not losing independence because of what we have seen in the big cities with the attacks on ICE or all of these Joe Biden invited in illegal aliens that are doing these reprehensible things, that doesn't horrify the independents enough to say, that Greenland thing, not really that big of a deal. When you compare it to what Joe Biden did and what the Democrats continue to do with the fraud and with the crime and with the attacks on law enforcement. So I would love to talk to one of these independents. It's like, what do you value? What horrifies you? What outrages you? A president talking tough? Or all of the rampant crime in the streets that we're seeing courtesy of Joe Biden and the Democrats? That's what I want to know from the independents. What do you value and what outrages you? Because if Donald Trump is losing, I'm going to air quote this, losing the independence over the whole Greenland thing, and the Democrats are not losing independence over what the hell they have done, I truly am baffled if that really truly is the case, what these independents really do value.